There is one rule every navy in the world believes. You do not attack a battleship with a toy. You do not challenge 42,000 tons of steel with something barely larger than a delivery van. You do not send men into a fortress defended by torpedo nets, minefields, patrol boats, and 2,000 armed sailors in a vessel so cramped you cannot stand upright. And in 1943, no one believed this rule more fiercely than the German Kriegsmarine. To them, the battleship Tirpitz, the lonely queen of the north, was untouchable. Protected in the fjords of Norway, shielded by mountains, anti-aircraft guns, smoke generators, and layers of steel mesh, she was the pride of Hitler's navy. A ship so feared that the Royal Navy diverted entire fleets just to keep her contained. The rule was simple: Tirpitz cannot be touched. But in September 1943, one man, inside a submarine no bigger than a family car, changed everything. Lieutenant Donald Cameron is 26 years old, quiet, precise, a Scotsman with a calm that unnerves even his instructors. He is not a brawler, not a swaggering hero, not the kind of man you imagine steering a weapon into the heart of the German Navy. But he has something rarer: absolute focus. He commands X-6, one of 6 British X-class midget submarines, experimental craft only 51 feet long, crewed by 4 men, and powered by a tiny diesel engine and electric motor. Inside, temperatures reach 95 degrees, condensation drips constantly, the air tastes of battery acid and diesel fumes. Every movement must be deliberate, because one wrong switch can flood the boat in seconds. These submarines are not built for comfort. They are built for one purpose: to slip beneath the defenses of the Tirpitz and cripple her. The stakes could not be higher. Tirpitz threatens every Arctic convoy carrying supplies to the Soviet Union. If she breaks out, she can slaughter merchant ships by the dozen. Churchill himself calls her the Beast. So the Admiralty devises Operation Source, a plan so audacious it borders on madness. Tow 6 midget submarines across the North Sea, release them near Norway, and have them infiltrate the fjord, evade patrols, cut through torpedo nets, and plant 2-ton explosive charges beneath the battleship. Most officers think it's suicide. Cameron volunteers anyway. On the night of September 20th, 1943, after a brutal tow that nearly drowned half the crews, X-6 slips free. The fjord lies ahead, dark, silent, deadly. And Cameron faces the challenge no one believes is possible. It is 0300. The water is black. The mountains rise like walls. And X-6 creeps forward at 2 knots. Inside, the air is thick. Condensation runs down the steel hull. Every man breathes slowly, deliberately, to conserve oxygen. Ahead lies the first obstacle: the anti-submarine nets. Cameron orders, "Take her down." The depth gauge drops. 20 feet, 30, 40. The hull groans as pressure builds. They reach the net. It stretches from the surface to the seabed, an impenetrable curtain of steel. Cameron tries to slip beneath it. The keel scrapes rock. Too shallow. He tries to rise above it. The conning tower bumps the floats. Too tight. There is only one option: find a hole. For 40 minutes, X-6 inches along the net, searching. The electric motor hums softly. Every sound feels deafening. Then, a gap, barely 6 feet wide. Cameron whispers, "Steady, steady." The boat squeezes through, metal scraping metal. They are inside the first perimeter. But the Germans are waiting. A patrol boat sweeps the water with searchlights. A spotlight passes within 30 yards of X-6. The crew freezes. No one breathes. The light moves on. Cameron pushes forward. The second net appears, stronger, deeper, reinforced. This time there is no gap. He makes a decision no manual ever recommends. He drives the submarine straight through it. The propeller snarls in the mesh. The boat shudders violently. The lights flicker. For a moment it seems certain. The mission is over. But the propeller tears free. The boat lurches forward. They are through. Ahead, the water opens into the anchorage. And there she is. Tirpitz. A floating fortress 823 feet long, lit by floodlights, guarded by over 100 guns, and surrounded by layers of steel nets. Cameron checks the clock. 0700. They have less than 2 hours before the charges must be planted. He brings X-6 to periscope depth. The battleship fills the lens. Gray, immense, terrifying. He begins the final approach. 1,500 yards. The electric motor hums.
The crew wipes sweat from their eyes. 1,200 yards. A German lookout scans the water. 900 yards. A patrol boat turns toward them. Cameron dives. The boat sinks to 50 feet. The hull creaks. The temperature climbs. They reach the innermost torpedo net. This one is impossible to break. Unless Cameron spots a gap where a boom has been temporarily opened. He times the swell. He orders full electric power. X6 surges forward. The boat slams into the opening. Metal screeches. The conning tower scrapes the boom. But they burst through. They are beneath Tirpitz. The battleship's engines thrum above them. The sound vibrates through the hull like thunder. Cameron positions the charges. 2 2,000-pound Amatol warheads, each set on a timer. He arms them. Then disaster strikes. The periscope jams. The steering gear fails. The submarine begins to flood. X6 is dying. Cameron knows they cannot escape. He orders the scuttling charges set. He orders the men to prepare to surrender. They surface beside Tirpitz, a tiny, battered, leaking craft rising next to a steel mountain. German sailors stare in disbelief. Cameron climbs up, soaked, exhausted, and salutes. He says only, "We are Englishmen. We have come to blow up your ship." The Germans laugh. Then the fjord erupts. A shockwave tears through the water. Tirpitz lifts 6 inches out of the sea. Bulkheads buckle. Engine rooms flood. Power fails. The mighty battleship is crippled. And the Germans stop laughing. If you find this kind of forgotten history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage and sacrifice deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. What the Germans don't realize, at least not yet, is that the damage is catastrophic. Tirpitz's keel is bent. Her turbines are wrecked. Her magazines are flooded. She is out of action for 6 months. Hitler is furious. He demands new defenses, new nets, new patrols. He orders the battleship never to risk open water again. The beast is chained permanently to the fjord. This single attack, carried out by 6 tiny submarines, changes the entire naval balance in the Arctic. Convoys to the Soviet Union surge forward with fewer losses. The Royal Navy reallocates major ships to other theaters, and the Luftwaffe is forced to divert aircraft to protect a battleship that can no longer fight. The true impact won't be understood until later. By crippling Tirpitz, Cameron and his men set the stage for the final air attacks that will sink her in 1944. A battleship that cost Germany millions of tons of steel and thousands of workers is neutralized by 4 men in a submarine the size of a bus. Lieutenant Donald Cameron survives the war. He returns home to Scotland, quiet as ever, never boasting about the day he crippled the most feared ship in Europe. He receives the Victoria Cross, Britain's highest award for valor. His crew, Sub-Lieutenant Kenneth Hudspeth, Engine Room Artificer Edmund Goddard, and diver James McGuinness, receive honors as well. McGuinness himself will later earn a Victoria Cross for another mission. Most of the X-craft crews are young, 20 to 27 years old. Many never return from later operations. Their names echo softly through naval history, often overshadowed by larger battles, but their courage reshaped the war. And their story matters now because it proves something timeless. Technology changes, weapons evolve, but the human spirit, the willingness to crawl into a steel tube and face impossible odds, remains the deciding factor in every conflict. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state, and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Lieutenant Donald Cameron and the 4 men of X6 do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.